as you see in jiu-jitsu or combat sports, you go, man, these guys who are supposed to be the roughest, toughest guys in the world, they will still bow the knee to Jesus Christ. And that to me is what is cool. Kids want to be tough. Kids want to be, street cred. They want to be thought of as hard. And you go, hey, man, some of the hardest, toughest, and I'll use him as an example, men in the world bow the knee to Jesus Christ. So how can you, a person of much less, not worship him?
Like it's kind of funny, like about the same thing, right? When I started like a Bible study at my gym, Python, and then like when I teach a Bible study, there's kids from our church that comes too, that trains, and it's just weird, right? Because like for how many years? Maybe 2 years that I've been like teaching with you, right?
Yeah.
At Bible. Like, it's always been like, man, do I know enough to be leading a Bible study? Do I know enough? But now when I'm teaching at the gym, I realize that, man, these kids don't know anything. Like, it's a different demographic.
We say that sometimes. Like, we think sometimes we got to do a lot of research. But again, that's to me what's great about Jesus Christ. He didn't call the Pharisees or the religious know-it-alls to be his disciples and to spread the word.
Right.
Who did he call? He called a band of 12 hooligans, of undesirables. He called us. He called guys like us to share the gospel, because I think he knows it's going to be better received when you have normal people rather than somebody from the high up trying to, preach or show people. I think it's the lay people, the people like Gray Tesh, you're an attorney, and, the people like that who are called. People who punch people in the face for a living, people who, fix animals. And I can't tell you how many times in my office, I've gone, man, I have a career here and I loved my career. But a lot of times, I prayed with people for, infertility, for cancer, for, whatever. And I go, this is probably why, or even, animals. And we had an incident one time where we had a dog that was really, really sick, and it was one of my associate veterinarians was taking the case. And he didn't really grow up. He actually grew up, his grandmother was Jewish, so he kind of grew up. And, I would church him, and we'd, a little bit, but nothing, strong arm or anything. And this young man came in with this dog, and, he was sick, and he goes, I'm going to pray, and, that this dog gets fixed. And he says, the answer to the prayer, I think my dog's getting better. Jesus is telling me this dog's going to get better. And jokingly, the young veterinarian says, if this dog makes it, I'm going to go to his church. And I go, you really mean that? And he goes, yeah, if this dog gets better, because this dog, and I think it was the dog's bowel had perforated, and it required a huge surgery, multiple resection and anastomosis, meaning removing pieces of intestines, patching them back together, which is a difficult, intricate surgery. The dog ended up getting better. And this young man, the veterinarian, he did. He went to Christ Fellowship, and, because that's where the guy went. And I want to talk to something, because I did listen to, in preparation for this podcast, I listened to Tuco's, because I love Tuco. I thought you guys did a great job, by the way. But I feel the same way you do. I grew up in a small church with a choir, not with a band and a guitarist and drums and all that. So whenever we were looking for a new church, we attended several different services. And, I attended some of the mega churches, and I always kind of cross my arms and look around because I struggle with it, right? As you do. Right. You struggle with it. You go, hey, there's a Hollywood production. Right. The preacher just came back from makeup, and he's living in a beautiful house. He's living in a beautiful house, has all the stuff. Yeah. Well, I went to a girl at CrossFit actually invited my wife, said, hey, I got this great church I've been going to, and this Journey Church, and give them a shout out. But the first time I ever went, I'm kind of crossing my arms because they have the drummer in there, they have the thing, they have kind of a Hollywood production. But the pastor, Pastor Scott Ball, the first time I was there, he says, hey, he goes, I just want to tell you, guys, and again, I don't think it was coincidence. That was the first time I was there. He goes, I don't take a salary from this church. I'm a volunteer. In fact, our family gives money to this church church. He goes, I started the church in my living room. He goes, obviously the other pastors are on salary, but I make my money through real estate and through a business totally unrelated to the church. So I'm donating my time. And immediately that hit home with me because I go, his heart's in the right place because he's not receiving. And, again, Jesus talks about, the worship of money, many, many times. And so I struggle with that too, because we all want to prosper, but at the same time, we don't want to make the consumption or the pursuit of money our God. And I think that's the big thing. And that may be me justifying it because
he's rich. That's why.
I'm not, but I would say God has absolutely provided. But you know what? I also say the fact that he's provided, I have deliberately tried to be generous with what I have, not only my time, but with helping people. So I think God has blessed me so that I can bless others. No question about it.